Welcome back. We're going to switch gears a little bit. We're in Brown County State Park, and we're going to talk about mountain biking. Join us as we explore another outdoor adventure. Well, Steve, I know that mountain biking is getting really popular and that you're involved in it from both a personal interest of the family getting out for recreation, but also from a business point of view. Tell me a little bit about mountain biking in general and why do you think it's becoming more popular?
Well, I really like mountain biking because it gives us the opportunity to get, another opportunity I should say, to get into the woods in another season. And I really like outdoor recreation in the woods. And I really enjoy biking.
Okay.
And so putting biking plus being in the woods together is a fabulous combination to me. Road biking's okay, but getting run over on the road is not the way I want to go out of this world.
There you go.
And so it's so safe in the woods. Now you do crash. We have to wear helmets and take it easy at first, but it's so much fun. And it's such a healthy thing to do, and because of the continual up and down hills, it's a good workout. So we really enjoy it, and it's a fantastic.
Is there much of a learning curve? I mean, if you grew up riding your 10-speed bike around the neighborhood, and all of a sudden, I'm going to try that mountain biking stuff out in the woods, it's a little bit different equipment, but you still have gears to change. And it's still pedaling and staying upright.
Yeah.
Once you ride a bike, you always know how to ride a bike?
Well, to some extent. Mountain biking is a little bit more complicated in that you've got to be able to toss your weight around pretty quick, and you have to be able to go up and down through the gears pretty quick, and you need to plan ahead your shifts. You see the hills and the corners coming, you want to plan, because there's lag time for the derailleurs to work, to shift, you want to plan your shifts in advance. You want to be in the right gear before you have to be in the right gear.
Now, we're at Brown County State Park, so the vertical climb is a little bit higher here than in other places. You don't have to be a mountain climbing mountain biker with the big hills to enjoy mountain biking.
Well, that's true, and the way these trails are laid out, they don't go straight up and straight down the hills. These trails are laid out so that they have gradual climbs and some gradual descents on most of the trail. Now there is some black diamond and double diamond portions of this trail. There's 24 miles of trail here in Brown County State Park now. Roughly half of that is easy to moderate and the other half is difficult to extreme. So there's something here for all interests in mountain biking. But definitely want to start out on the easy to moderate before you start to tackle the difficult to extreme.
Tell me about this black diamond, double diamond. How are the trails? How does that relate to, I'm used to hiking trails that are easy, moderate, hard, and very hard.
Well, it kind of follows the skiing, the downhill skiing trail nomenclature. So that a diamond is considered a difficult and a double diamond is considered very difficult. Only experienced people should even attempt a double diamond.
Okay. Now, if I wanted to take the family camping to McCormick's Creek State Park, Brown County State Park, maybe I'm going to be in the Patoka Reservoir area, I don't want to go to the expense of buying mountain bikes for the family of 4 or whatever yet. How can you help out with something like that?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because you can go to www.mosthighandventure.com or call 812-340-0700 and call me, Steve, at Most High Adventure Outfitters, and we'll fix you up with mountain bikes and get them sized appropriately to all the members of the family. We haul them to the location for you. We haul them to the trail for you. Actually give you some tips and pointers on the trail, and then pick them back up when you're done. And so we do the dirty work. We keep the tires repaired and inflated and lubricated and haul them around for you. So it's a good value, and it's a fantastic opportunity for the family to do something else that is exciting together.
And for a relatively inexpensive rental fee, you bring it's kind of like canoeing, which you guys do also. You bring the mountain bikes to the customer. They can use them for what, half day, a day, a weekend, and then you come back and pick them up.
Exactly.
Okay. So there isn't really any excuse anymore to not try mountain biking in southern Indiana. I'm sure there are places in northern and central Indiana as well, but you're located out of Bloomington?
We're located out of Bloomington, and we serve Brown County State Park in Nashville. We serve the Lake Monroe, Bloomington area. We also serve the Lawrence County and the Orange County French Lick areas as well. So that encompasses, within that area, that encompasses Hoosier National Forest, Morgan Monroe State Forest, Owen Putnam State Forest. So there's a number of trails that are in our service area.
And like I said, there are a lot of groups and organizations for mountain biking that it's becoming that popular. I was filming a Dino competition mountain bike over at Muscatatuck County Park a few weeks ago. There were hundreds and hundreds of people there with their mountain bikes. Now, if I don't know anything about mountain bikes, what's the difference between, like I said, the 10-speed that I grew up with and a mountain bike?
Well, one of the primary differences is going to be suspension. Mountain bikes, this is an example of a full suspension mountain bike that has both front and rear suspension. So it will bounce and absorb shock in both the front end and the rear end. Now, you don't have to have a full suspension mountain bike to enjoy mountain biking. But you do need a front suspension mountain bike to take the shock out of your arms and your hands, and to take the shock out of the bike itself. So those are called a hardtail. It doesn't have rear suspension, but does have front suspension. But I'm kind of a big boy, so I prefer the full suspension mountain bike.
It makes it a more comfortable ride.
A much more comfortable ride, and especially if you've had back pain or tailbone pain, or it's very important to have full suspension as you have a few years on your frame.
Now, and this is different than BMX bikes. Where you're hitting big hills and you're jumping and spinning and doing a lot of different things.
Correct. This is just traversing, trail running. We call it cross-country biking, where while it's off-road, you're not jumping and spinning and trying to break your neck. So,
we've been out on the trails now for a little bit today, and I will say that if you like hiking, you're going to love mountain biking. You get to follow more trails, you get to cover more of the park, you get to see more wildlife and more beauty and terrain, just because you can go faster and further than you can walking. So there are a lot of benefits to an aerobic exercise and workout, to getting to see more of the park or the woods that you're in.
Well, one of my favorite stories along those lines, Troy, is when my wife Karen and I came out here to Brown County Park on I believe it was a New Year's Eve, and this has been about 15 years ago, and there was nobody in the park. It was a full moon night, and we went riding through the park, and we found ourselves in a herd of about 50 deer up near the campground before they realized we were in among them. And so because we were silent and swift and silent, we were able to get right into this big herd of deer in very close contact with them before they realized we were there.
Well, that's a really neat story. Hey, I'll tell you what, if you haven't tried mountain biking, don't put it off any longer. There's no reason to. Get out and enjoy the doors a little bit more with a new adventure. You don't even have the excuse of I can't afford it anymore. So enjoy another adventure in Indiana, and join us next week right here on Indiana Outdoor Adventures.